All right, welcome everyone to Building Your Business Back Up. We have with us today, I'm Angela Moonin of Blue Eye Marketing, and we have with us today Angelo Testani, Senior Vice President of Lending with Seneca Savings, and we also are introducing a new commercial lender, not new to the bank, but new commercial loan officer, Angela Styrus. Welcome to you both, and hello.
Thank you. Hi, thank you.
Happy Thursday. I do want to preface for everyone on here that does decide to join us live. Of course, this is being recorded, so you certainly can archive this and access it later on the Seneca Savings page, as well as we'll be posting it on Seneca Savings YouTube channel. And so there'll be places to see this and to share it with colleagues, partners, etc. I do want to preface by saying, we understand, I know here where I am, I've got some storms brewing outside, and I know where you folks are in Beeville, in Baldwinsville, Angela, you've got some potential storms brewing too. So if for any reason we lose our internet connection today, just bear with us. I mean, you know, Murphy does decide to show up once in a while. If there's any loss of connection, just hang in there and stay tuned on the Seneca Savings Facebook page, and we'll be back. But it's all going to go smoothly, right, guys? We're not going to have any glitches.
Absolutely. What can go wrong with 3 inches?
Yeah. Nothing can go wrong with the Ange show. Yes, Angela, Angelo, and Angela. It's true. I said to a colleague of mine last night, I said, I don't know that I've ever been in a meeting with 3 Anges. I don't know if I could ever say that in my whole life, but
I'm gonna go right now. I appear to be the rose between a couple of thorns. Right?
Yeah. Oh, gracious. So yes, so I just want to make sure that we are all set and we're good to go. Okay. So what we're talking about today, for those of you joining us, thank you so much. And for those of you watching us at some point in the future, thank you. We're talking about building your business back up. And Angelo, I don't think in all the time over the last many moons that business owners may have been pioneering in their industry, that they have faced the gauntlet in the way that they have this past year. So as we get into that and the tools and resources that we're here to talk about in building your business back up, how to build a bridge from here to there. Let's first give a little background on both you and Angela. Angela, you've been with the bank for some time, but you've been in commercial lending for a while and banking for even longer. Can you give us a little bit of your story, and then Angela, over to you after that?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I've been with Seneca Savings now for a little over 5 years. Been in banking now for 33 years. I guess I say it like that, it seems like a really long time. Started, locally in 1988 with a local bank, and had gone through some bigger banks and came back to a local bank 5 years ago. So you thought you saw all the cyclical cycles economically you could possibly go to until about January of last year, when a pandemic started shutting a lot of things down. So really, you've seen a lot in 33 years. So.
Yeah. I bet. And Angela, how about you? You are new to this role that you're in, and how did you make your way to where you are right now?
Well, I've been in banking for quite some time. He says 33 years. I'm pushing 20. I hate to admit it. I must have been 10 when I started. However, no, in all honesty, I've been in banking for quite some time. I have worn many hats throughout my time. I've been with Seneca Savings, though, for the past 2 years. I kind of came in doing some part-time stuff with him, wasn't really looking for anything full-time, came on board, though, to pursue my passion. Honestly, I'm excited about my new role as a commercial loan officer. Really, in all honesty, I enjoy working with our business customers and kind of growing and developing a relationship with them. So really, it's a blessing. And honestly, to work with Ange, I've worked with him on and off for many years. So it's all worked out for the best.
Wonderful. Now, Angela, what do you love about doing what you do, and why do you love doing it on behalf of Seneca Savings?
I really, like I said, been doing the commercial lending piece now for 18 years or so. I enjoy going out and calling on businesses. There's a lot going on with small business customers. It's fun to go out in the field, going out on calls, meeting people at their place of business. And as a small business owner, you guys love talking about your business. You
Yeah.
love telling us what's going on and, see the different things. Too many times you see in the media all the negative news about, this factory closing or this manufacturing plant shutting down. There's a lot of positive things in the small business world going on in Syracuse right now. It's great to see. So.
And really, Seneca Savings has really grown up with that small business market, but with all of the innovations and all of the growth and expansion that the bank is experiencing, that portfolio is growing with it. So really, you are working more and more with mid-sized businesses as well. Yes, manufacturers, et cetera, with large amounts of space and commercial needs. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Why, particularly over the last year, Angelo, what are some of the tools that you've helped some of these business owners employ? And I know PPP was just a massive undertaking for you, but why do you think people choose Seneca Savings, a locally rooted bank, for example, especially over the last year with all this uncertainty? Why did they turn to you, and what was that experience like?
You hit on it with a local bank, and I think you brought up PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, and the SBA rolled out February of last year. In that 15-month, 16-month time frame, we did 497 PPP loans. For a bank our size, that was $29 million worth of loans that went back into our local economy. Those were small business owners, local people that we gave money to through the SBA. That's a grant that's non-refundable for them, or non-payable, excuse me, that they don't have to pay back. That helped them survive this pandemic. And we did loans as small as a few $1,000 up to $1 million. The stylist that got a $4,000 PPP loan, that was just as important to her as the company that got $1 million. It helped her, get through her rent payment for a couple of months. So,
Angela, it sounds like it was probably some 9 and 10 o'clock nights. And there were probably those were not 8 to 5
hours?
days.
No.
there were no banker hours.
No, that went right out the window.
Now, and have you seen, Angela, a lot of these PPP folks that I've read some of those customer surveys. Okay. So I've heard some of the rave reviews of their experience with you. Have you seen them migrate? Because we're going to talk now, where do you go from here, right? PPP is done. Now you're into the forgiveness phase. Have you seen them migrating their accounts over to you? And what are you saying to your business owners right here, right now, today about the future and how to help them get from where they are now to wherever it is that they want to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, we ended up opening up the PPP program to non-Seneca Savings customers as well. When we started to see the need where some of the bigger banks were maybe failing some of these customers or weren't putting them in on time. So we, kind of Angelo and the president made a decision to kind of really come out there and say, you know what, this is what we are. We're a community bank. We need to get out there and help our community. So we did. We opened it back up, and we're taking on a lot of new clients in that aspect to help them out and to help get them funding. And we've really had some great retention in those clients. They're so grateful, and they have been switching over and been using some of the new products that we've got or that we've opened up, whether it be the Z-Rent that we have or ACH services or remote deposit capture where they can do their banking right from their office if, maybe one of our branches isn't as convenient. And hey, you know what? On a positive note, it's helping them out. They don't have to make as many trips to the branch. So
I am, by the way, I'm monitoring on my cell phone. So if you see me looking over here, we are live again. We're here with Seneca Savings, building your business back up, right? And we are taking your questions. So we see some folks in the live feed here. If you have any questions for Angelo or Angela, please, I'm going to monitor this. Please feel free to ask questions. And we're going to be giving some information at the end of today. We're going to be together for about 20 25 minutes or so. And we'll be giving some information of where you can go next and find out even more resources. But from there, Angelo, what's your advice now? What are the tools and technologies? I mean, Seneca Savings may have began as a small bank, but it's expanded immensely in terms of the resources and technology and innovation. I mean, you've got to be, from your perch, you've got to be thrilled with what you're capable of helping these business owners with
Yeah,
now.
I think, follow up on one of Angela's comments about customer retention, the PPP program. I think the comment I hear a lot from customers that have been converted because of the PPP loans is, you were there for me when my bank wasn't. And that's a great thing to hear, is that we help them out. And a lot of them are surprised that as a local community bank, that we have all the bells and whistles, the same services that any other bank would have. We have online banking for businesses, remote deposits for business. One of the things that we picked up during the pandemic, we noticed, again, cash wasn't being used in a lot of the retail shops. A lot of people were afraid to handle cash back and forth. So there's a greater demand for credit card purchases. So we saw that, more of our customers wanted to be able to accept credit cards. We looked into that process, determined what the cost would be to the bank, and actually said, let's hire somebody. So we went out and we actually hired an individual that was a different institution that had been doing it for, I believe, 10 years now. He came on board in November of last year, and now we offer merchant service processing for our customers.
And so, and as you said, I mean, you're having to meet customers where they're at, where and how they're wanting to do their banking, right?
Right. I think, well, what I see, again, working, at a local bank like this, is all our decisions are made here. I joke and tell folks all the time, our worldwide headquarters are in Beeville, New York, right? Come up to Baldwinsville, you'll see our ivory tower, which is 2 stories high. Everything is done locally, and unlike some of the bigger institutions, I mean, we can pivot and change directions where those guys, a big bank, it's, turning the Queen Mary around in a harbor. It's very hard to do. They don't move as quickly as we can. We're a little more flexible. So we're able to go ahead and say, hey, here's a need, or here's something we should change. How do we go about doing it?
And when you want to talk to the president of the bank, or if the president of the bank if Joe wants to bring his key team together and make a decision on a commercial loan, I know he said, look, I can actually pull my team together. I haven't got to wait for a corporate meeting that's coming up 30 days from now. We can make a decision quickly and be that resource in a very timely fashion, in a lot of unique scenarios too, which we're gonna get into some stories here in just a minute of examples of that. But I think it's pretty clear, in terms of creating a path for these small to medium-sized businesses. Angelo, what are the types of industries that you and Angela both really enjoy working with, that you think you're really well suited for?
I mean, specific industries. I mean, we'll do anything: retail, restaurants, manufacturing, light manufacturing. We're doing warehouse space now. We provide all this.
What about professional services? Do you work with CPA firms, financial
CPA
investors,
firms, lawyers, doctors? We've carved out a little niche where, for our professional services, we can do an unsecured line of credit to that professional service company. So you got a CPA firm and you're looking, a small shop, and you want a small unsecured line of credit, we can do that based on the credit score of the partners. Just kind of get a line out there quickly for them that, doesn't tie up any real resources. So
yes, and it shouldn't go without saying. In fact, we probably need to say it, that Seneca Savings, of course, as a community bank as well, but is a member FDIC, equal housing lender. You are federally insured, and because something interesting that you shared with me, Angelo, is that you are a community bank, meaning you live and work in the same community with these folks, right? So everything you do has a direct impact, and you've got branches across. You have a decent footprint for community bank. Can you share your branch locations and talk a little bit about your role as a community bank?
Yeah, we're in Baldwinsville, Liverpool, North Syracuse, and our newest office was opened just before the pandemic out in Bridgeport. So we'll
beautiful location out in Bridgeport, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll service Onondaga County and the counties that surround us. So we're central New York. And like I said, this is the area where we work and live and play. You brought up flexibility of meetings. We had a client that was looking to get out of his bank, but he was unhappy there, was trying to rush this through. And typically we have a senior loan committee meeting that would meet monthly, but because everybody on our loan committee is local, we said, let's do it Monday afternoon it was this Tuesday afternoon, and meet as a group and make the decision on his loan form. And so we did. We got together, called the group together, did a conference call with folks that couldn't come in person, and responded, he said fairly quickly. It was about 3 weeks from application to get approval done for him. So
wow, that's incredible. So dovetailing on some of those the PPP success stories, today is about building your business back up and building that bridge, helping you get from point A to D to F to Z. What could you share? I love some of the true stories you share with me, Angelo, and I know that this is what makes you tick every day, right? Are creating these wins for local business owners. There's a story you once shared with me, a couple actually. One, you shared with me about the woman who was replacing her roof, and she actually thought she might have to get a whole commercial mortgage in order to do that. Can you walk us through the steps of that?
Yeah, she's a light manufacturing plant down in Janesville. Again, not communally located to us, but I have a good work relationship with her CPA. He reached out with her and said, can you help her? She's looking to replace the roof on the building. They were thinking originally doing a commercial mortgage. And if you don't have experience with commercial mortgages, they're much more expensive than a residential mortgage. The closing cost, she was looking for $60,000 or $70,000. It turned out to be for just to do a portion of the roof. To do a commercial mortgage for that dollar amount would have cost her $5,000 or $6,000 in closing costs. By the time you do an appraisal on the building, you do an environmental assessment. Onondaga County charges a 1% mortgage tax. So she'd be paying that, the county, plus lawyer fees. I looked at her financial statements. The attorney her CPA gave us and said, you got a lot of other hard assets in your manufacturing plant. You don't need to do a commercial mortgage. If you can pay this thing off in 5 or 7 years, we can do a simple term loan where we're only going to charge you $100 for documentation fee and a UCC filing and save you about $5,000.
And a lot of headaches.
Right. A lot less time consuming. By the time you go through a commercial mortgage close, you can take 60 to 90 days. We can close a line of credit in less than a term loan in less than a week. The CPA goes, that's a great idea. Can we do it over 7 years? And I said, yes. So
and do you find that scenario, you're working with CPAs often, right? I mean, just like maybe in the personal banking, a mortgage lender might be working with that realtor. In this case, you're working with the CPAs.
CPA, yeah, the CPAs are a great referral source for us. If they're looking to help their client out with anything, lending wise, we love to hear from them. In this case, like I said, I've known her CPA for a number of years. He's a great guy. He reached out via email and said, can we help her? And it worked out perfect. We got her set up. She got the check and wound up getting the section of the roof done, within a couple of weeks. So
great story. And Angela, you had a situation where it was a unique scenario, right? And that's what we touched on earlier, where it was something there were people, they didn't own the business, but they ran the business.
Oh, yeah. So that one was a unique situation too, as well, where looking for a mortgage on a property. They did run the business, but they didn't own the business. So it's just having that ability here to be able to be creative. We were able to still use some of the income from the business with the owners as well. And just kind of think outside of the box. That's kind of where you just had to put your thinking hat on and kind of come back to it. And, the business itself was going to be paying the individual's rent. So we were able to be creative and go from there as well. So
and it helps to be able to have, because there are not the layers, perhaps as there might be at bigger banks. You really get to know these people, walk beside them, right, and get to understand the nuances, who they are as people, who they are as business owners. Yes, there's the statements and the efficacy of all of that, but knowing what to look for and knowing how to create that relationship with them. I've got to believe, Angelo, in your 33 years of banking, you've crafted quite a few of those relationships that are meaningful to you.
Absolutely. There are guys that have followed me now for 20 years. That we've got clients, and the deal we approved on Tuesday afternoon was a referral from them. They like what we've done for them here locally. They've known me, except for 20 years I've handled their banking. They called me up and said, I've got a buddy, he's at another local bank. Is there any chance that you can help him out? He feels very much handcuffed at this bank. They kind of holding his checking account hostage. He can't really get into his own funds and forcing him to use his line of credit more than he wants to. Can you
Oh
help
yes,
him out?
this is the business owner. He was forced to use his $1 million line of credit or something
Yeah.
with all those interest fees, and yeah.
Right. A younger guy took over the business when his father passed away a few years ago. He'd been working there for a number of years, but dad suddenly passed away. He was, kind of thrust into the ownership, and done a great job of the business. It's nice tax returns, very good numbers. It's the one we actually approved on Tuesday. He was thrilled. He said, he felt handcuffed at the other institution. Now he looks at us as kind of, I want you to be my partner going forward, and that's a great thing to hear. We want to be your partner. It's not just I'm your bank that you come to and drop a check off once a week, but we want to be your partner and help you out, and come to us with questions when you're looking for advice on how to do things.
We've met a lot of really great
Oh,
people.
go ahead, Angela. Go ahead, hon.
Yeah, we've just met a lot of really great people over the years throughout our career, and some of which you turn around and call friends too in the end, because you do work so closely with them throughout the time, and you really get to know them and want to see them succeed.
So now today's topic, again, we are here with Angelo Testani, Senior VP of Lending, Commercial Lending at Seneca Savings, and Angela Stivers, your newest, Angelo, your pick, right, for commercial loan officer, because you've worked so closely with Angela and seen her talents and capabilities over the years. I would think that when you bring talent into Seneca, because you are such a tight-knit culture, that persona, that personality, the ability to collaborate, be creative, be open, be kind and patient, all those things, I'm sure you have to be very particular because you all work so closely together. Yes.
Right. We're probably 50 employees here at this point. So you want to bring people in. Like I met Ange when I was a branch manager probably 20 years ago. She was a part-time teller at that time. And I was a branch manager for that office. We just stayed in touch. We both worked together at a large bank before coming here, and she was a branch manager and I was a lender for that office. We got along really well. I saw the success she had in that office, and I knew she stayed home for a few years with some children. And we had an opportunity to bring somebody on part-time. She's one of the first people I reached out to. I said,
that's awesome. That's
exciting. Full-time position open up, and I badgered her for a couple months to go full-time.
Wonderful. Well, that growth, I mean, that's important.
Yes.
I'm really excited. I said yes, honestly.
Yes.
Getting into it and really working with it, honestly, I couldn't be more excited for the
Well, so again, building your business back up, Angela, where do businesses go from here? What would you like to see? What does success look like for you in working with more business owners throughout the community? What would you like them to do next?
Really, I think, thinking about that earlier, when we were talking about that question, I know people, we all do it. We shop around for, you spend hours researching, trying to find the best deal, like on a dishwasher, a new appliance for your house. Most people bank what's convenient to them. They're going to go, well, they're right here next door, so I'm just going to bank over there. And it may not always be the best choice. Shop it around. I tell my clients all the time, here's our offer. Here's what we can do. You're crazy on $1 million deal not to shop that deal around a little bit, and then come back to me and let me know if we were the best offer or not. And 9 times out of 10, they come back.
Right. And because of that secret sauce, beyond the rates and beyond that are what makes Seneca Savings so special. It's why you've chosen to.
I think it's the honesty as well. You're kind of just upfront with folks and say, here's our best offer. Here's what we can do for you. Please shop it around. At $1 million deal, a quarter of a point here or there makes a big difference.
I think relationships are important to business owners as well. I mean, that's one of the things you really want is a relationship with your CPA, a relationship with your banker, so that you can just pick up the phone, call them and say,
Oh.
hey, Ange, whether it's Tim or I,
Yeah.
this is what we need, this is what we're looking for. And when you already have the background on that business, it just makes it that much easier to kind of work with them and work.
Well, and let's face it, and this last year is a testament, right? You want your banker to be with you in the good times and in the bad. And
Yeah.
nobody has a crystal ball. No one knows when those ups or downs are coming. And the tighter the relationship and the more respect and trust that you have within that relationship, does that not make all the difference in the
Yeah,
world?
like you said, good times are bad. And, I have a client now, I call him full disclosure John. John tells you everything going on. Whether you want to hear about it or not, John's going to pick that phone up and tell you what's going on. And good times are bad. And he had a really rough patch a few years ago. And, he let me know ahead of time what was happening, before it got to the point where there was a problem. And you're able to work with that person, keep us in the loop, again. And if you're working with any bank, that's all any banker wants is for you to keep them in the loop as to what's happening. Don't go ghost on them. Once you do that, then we get very, very nervous as to what happened.
Yeah, you want that trust.
Well, it's help us help you, right? Is
Exactly.
that old adage? Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. This is our first kind of lunch and learn here for on behalf of the bank, and I think you guys did great. It wasn't too painful, was it, Angela?
I got nothing.
Not too painful.
We're waiting for the lunch. Is
We're
it
waiting
still
on the
being
what?
delivered
Where's-
or where's that?
Right. So again, we are with Angelo Testani, Senior Vice President of Commercial Lending at Seneca Savings. Angelo, thank you so much. And thank you for bringing Angela along in her work and letting her shine. Angela, thank you for joining us today. You've been lovely. And I'm going to, I'll be posting as follow-up to this on Facebook. I'll be sharing Angelo and Angela's emails and bank contact information. Of course, you can always go to senecasavings.com. We'd love to see you join us on LinkedIn and Instagram, YouTube, watch some of our videos. Angelo's got some great videos on there, and you're going to be seeing more and more informational and resource videos on there from our financial literacy efforts to commercial lending for businesses big and small. So thank you both very much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and we'll hope to see you again soon here.
Thanks, Ange.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for all of you joining us.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.